What up? What up? What up? It's your favorite podcast with your favorite podcast host. Talking your favorite podcast message. Talking the favorite podcast stuff. What's happening? It's Freewenow. It's Freewenow. Freewenow. It's Freewenow.
Till it is. 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 It is. It is. Backwards.
What up? What up? We back. It's Freewenow.
Till it is backwards.
Yes, sir. Ski. Hey, look, we got a great one for you today. We're talking about Moses and the burning bush. All right, Moses and yes, the burning bush that did not burn. What you got for the people?
Hey, this will make sense as we go further through these verses, but who you are does not matter as much as whose you are. Shout out that line from Myron Golden.
Say that one more time.
Who you are does not matter because of whose you are.
Facts. Facts. And again, just want to give a quick shout out to the Enlightened Mentor Project, right? Mentoring program that we've gotten connected with in LA, right? Shout out to Tony, who put all of it together, had us on a couple days ago, right? And we got a chance to speak about financial literacy, right? So that's up our alley. We love doing that. We spoke to young black males in high school and college. If you're ever interested in having us as guests for a panel or wearing your merch, as long as you pushing P, right? You got to be pushing positivity. You know what I mean? We'll definitely love to promote your brand, promote your content. Anything to add on Tim?
Nah, it's an amazing experience. All of those young men are extremely bright, and I'm extremely proud of the fact that they showed up on a Saturday, which most people their age wouldn't do that, to get a step ahead and just listen to individuals that have been where they are, but they aren't where they are yet. If that makes sense. I might have messed that up, but y'all get what I'm saying.
For sure. All right, look. Moses in the burning bush. Okay. So I got to give you a little background, all right? So check this out, all right? So Moses, right, a Hebrew baby, right, is basically in the kingdom of Pharaoh, okay? They're in Egypt, right? And there has just been a decree made by the king of Egypt, also known as Pharaoh, that any boy Hebrew baby that's born needs to be killed.
Murked.
At birth. Okay? This was as a result to the king of Egypt basically saying, hey, these Hebrews, they populating too fast. They growing too fast.
Like cockroaches.
And if we keep, they baby kid, we don't die, we multiply. Right? So if they keep growing at the rate that they're growing right now, at one day they're going to turn against us and we're going to be defeated.
We're going to be overrun.
So as the king and my ego, I cannot let that happen. So I've issued a decree for all Hebrew boy babies, when they're born, they got to be killed. So pick up, Moses is now a Hebrew baby that has just been born right after that decree has been made, right? So as any mother would do, they try to keep their baby alive, okay? Moses' mom tried for 3 months to do the best she can to keep hiding the baby, who's also known as Moses. Sure enough, it comes to a point she can't hide him no more. So instead, she wraps him up, puts him in this waterproof basket, sends him in the Nile River, hoping for the best to him. Because she knows if she keeps keeping Moses in her house, the baby's going to die and probably her and her family's going to die for hiding the baby. Okay? Knowing this, Moses' sister is like, okay, Ma, I saw you just put this in the water, but I need to watch my brother. I want to see what's going to happen. So if anything come down later on the road, I know where to go find him. If he does make it, I need to see what's going on. Right? So Miriam, Moses' older sister, watches this, and then she sees, hey, is that the princess? Is that Pharaoh's daughter down there?
That's a come up.
I think Moses just floated down there to Pharaoh's daughter. So Pharaoh's daughter sees the basket, unwraps it, and Moses starts crying. Tears on, nothing tears on a woman's heart like a baby crying. Okay? So the princess is like, oh my gosh, what is this baby? Who's this baby? Blah, 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 blah. She falls in love with the baby, right? Miriam, Moses' older sister, sees this. Quick thing, you gotta be quick on your feet. She finesse God, okay? So she says, listen, oh my gosh, is this his baby? We gotta do something with this baby. Yada, yada, yada. She starts, talking to the princess. She basically convinces the princess, hey, we need to get this baby a mother or somebody to nurse the baby. It's 3 months old. They need to be nursed, right? They need to have some breast milk, right? So princess is like, you know what? You're right. Find somebody to nurse this baby. Miriam's sister's like, don't worry, I'll find somebody. Calls Moses' mother over. The princess doesn't know this is actually Moses' mama. Says, hey, can you nurse her? She's like, absolutely, I'll nurse him. So now, check this out.
Uno reverse.
A reverse Uno card, right? They don't even know that they getting played, okay? Moses' mama is now acting like some random Hebrew lady that's going to just nurse the baby. And Princess and Miriam is just some random lady who found it who doesn't know either one of them, right? Okay, cool. Fast forward the story. Now Moses' mom is getting paid to nurse her own baby. Look at God, right? Now Moses grows up in the castle and the king of Pharaoh in the Egypt kingdom, right? And now he has become a nice young man, right? But nonetheless, he's still Hebrew. So the Hebrews are now tasked with every day just building cities. What does building cities look like? Mixing mortar and brick and all these other ingredients together to just literally build building blocks for these structures.
Backbreaking labor.
It's gruesome labor. It's backbreaking. They in Egypt, so you know the weather conditions are insane.
Hot.
Right? This is not where we are now, so labor conditions are insane. Right? They're slaves. They're getting beat. They're getting whooped. And that's their only job every day is to build buildings. That's it every day. So Moses sees this. He's like, hold on. I know my people. These my people. I see them out here doing all of this. Why y'all treat them like this? So Moses now starts having some internal battles. As I'll let Keith pick up. Now Moses is conflicted. We got it's trouble around here now.
So he's conflicted. For the means of fast forwarding the story, eventually he kills an Egyptian man and buries him. Now people start talking, kind of find out, so he has to run in exile. He goes to Midian. While he's in Midian, he's gone for 40 years. This is a long
40
time.
years.
You know what I'm saying? He went from a very prominent figure under Pharaoh's reign to a humble individual in Midian. So in Midian, he's tending to his father-in-law's flock. So that makes a lot of sense. Prominent figure to tending to a flock that's not even his, to his father-in-law's flock. Now he's walking him around in the desert. He comes upon this place called Mount Horeb, which is just another name for Mount Sinai. Right? When he gets there, the angel of the Lord presents himself as a burning bush. Now you would think burning bush is kind of weird. Why would a burning bush be in the desert? But it's hot. You know what I'm saying? It kind of makes sense. Could make sense, could not make sense. But the specific thing about this bush is though it's on fire, it's not being consumed. It's not burning. You know what I'm saying? It is a consistent blaze that is not destroying the bush. So Moses makes a cognizant decision to say, let me go check this out. Like, this don't make no sense to me. So as he's walking up onto the bush, a voice of the Lord comes from the bush. Says, Moses. My boy says, I'm here.
Yo.
You know what I mean? He says, don't come any closer. This is sacred land you're walking on. Take off your shoes. Show respect to where you're at. Moses, of course, does what he's told. And then the voice says, I am the God of your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So, the only right thing to do is show God his deference and his respect. So Moses covers his face. Now, God gets to explaining to him essentially what he wants him to do. He says, I've heard the cries of my children, the Israelites. I know the pain you guys are going through in Egypt. I understand you have taskmasters. They're beating you and making you build these buildings. And that brings me sorrow. So I'm going to free y'all. And the way I'm going to do that is Moses, you going to go talk to Pharaoh and you going to tell him to free the people. Now, Moses is like, hold up. You just said you was going to do it, God. You want me to go free the people? Who am I to do this? And God says, I'm surely with you. So that's how you know that I sent you to do this task. Moses is not convinced.
Nah.
He says, okay. So I go tell him the God of my father sent me. What if they say, what's his name? What I'm going to tell him then, God? God says, I am who I am. You tell him I am sent you. So Moses is like, that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
I am who I am.
So God tells him to get all the elders together, get everybody together and go talk to the Pharaoh. But God knows that the Pharaoh is not going to let them go easily. He says, tell the Pharaoh you need to go on a 3-day voyage into the wilderness to make a sacrifice to your God. He's not going to let you go. But that's when I'm going to spin the block. And if you watched any of our previous podcasts, this is the precursor to all of the, why is this slipping my mind?
The plagues.
The plagues. This is the precursor to all of the plagues, right? So Moses does as he said, goes to the Pharaoh, tells him the plagues come. They eventually let the individuals go. God makes it a point to tell him, when y'all do leave, y'all are not leaving empty-handed. I need y'all to ask, or the women to ask, all of the women under their house, as well as everybody leaving the city, for not no regular stuff. I'm talking about gold and silver and fine garments. You ask for everything. You are going to plunder them
All of it.
by asking for them, and
All
they're going
both
to
of
be
'em.
generous enough to give you everything that they have. And that's how you fast forward into the next story. But that is the story of Moses in the burning bush.
Exactly. And so, like he said, I didn't realize that the burning bush
Was connected.
and was the precursor to, them splitting the Red Sea.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I also didn't realize that Moses' name means I pulled you out of the water.
And then he split the
And
Red
then
Sea.
he splits the Red Sea. Right? Like, you can't, like, a lot of this stuff you can't make up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why it's just so great to read it for yourself. I also didn't realize that Miriam was running game and told them everything to the princess, and now the princess is like, yeah, sure.
This makes sense.
Yeah, bring her in. She can nurse him, blah, blah, and that's his mama. That was crazy. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, reading this story, that's why you have to read it for yourself, because I'm like, wow. I'm literally reading this, I'm like, wow. Right? And so the first thing I picked up is that your destiny is being prepared before you're aware of your calling.
Say that one more time.
Your destiny is being prepared before you're aware of your calling.
Okay.
So preparation has already been happening before your awareness. So the burning bush was just Moses' awareness of, now this is what I've been called to do. But God has been preparing his destiny before he even got there. Because what's interesting is that the same household that made the decree for all Hebrew boys to be killed at birth is the same household that God puts him in and he grows up in. Right? How ironic is it for the household, the people that were meant to kill your lineage, ends up raising you to not only just raise you and be productive citizen, but raising you from you to now to go free a whole nation from their rule. That's a crazy concept. And a lot of times what God does is not intuitive. Why would you bring me up in this household, let me get exiled, and then now this is the people I got to come back and convince? Right? Like, so your destiny is being prepared before your awareness of your calling. Right? The interesting about this, right, is that the burning bush wasn't God's first interaction. Like I always say, God has been here before. You know what I'm saying? The fact that we're aware of God now doesn't mean that God wasn't there before we got there. Right? Like God already had a plan for his life. You understand me? So understand when God has called you and now Moses is like, who am I going to say who sent me? Why would you use me? I have a speech impediment. Like, what am I going to tell him when I get there? Like, how am I going to convince them? And then he's got to turn the staff into a snake and then go in the Nile River and pour it out in his blood. Or, you know what I mean? Like, pull his hand out of his cloak and his leprosy. And I was like, magic, voila. It's not. I'm healed, right? Like, all of that, God is doing all of that. But in reality, this been your purpose from the beginning. This been our purpose, part of our purpose from the beginning. Every step that you're taking in life, right, when you align with God, is going to lead you to where he wants you to go. Right? And so know that when you do become aware of it, even if you're nervous, even if you're scared of it, it's what you're supposed to be doing. So lean into it and God's going to have your back.
That is amazing. I love to hear, these different references. As J. Cole said, I got my hand afraid of my pen. That's how God works when he's going through these different soliloquies and paragraph and pages. Like the way he just put life together and have it stacked up and have layers and layers. It is absolutely insane. You know what I mean? So it just shows you the work of God in that there is no denying that it is him behind all of it. Right. And then one of the biggest things that I also want to allude to is the fact that when this story started, right, the burning bush was there, but God did not call Moses his name until he shifted his focus to it. So if Moses would have just walked by the bush and was like, oh, there's a bush on fire, he may have never got this word. So that shows me that you have to focus your attention on God to hear or see what he's trying to tell you. You can't ask for something and then be naive or go around this earth and not look for signs. I'm not going to say search them out, but at least be cognizant of your surroundings. One of the, as they say, one of the most vulnerable people is the one that is not cognizant of what's going on around them. He could have missed his calling or at least delayed it because he didn't see the bush.
Right.
And not only that, he didn't give the attention that this amazing feat or sign showed. Now, there are times in the Bible where the angel of the Lord comes down and speaks to people, and it is blatantly obvious that this is immaculate and amazing and it has to be God. But there are other times that God shows you signs that it's not just thrown in your face. It is sometimes minuscule. Sometimes it's almost secretive. Sometimes it's almost like you got to do a little bit of digging to understand what he's trying to tell you. He came out and told Moses what he needed him to do. A lot of the times he don't tell us what we need to be do. We just have to be focused on him, aligned with him. We have to model our life after his word. We have to change some of our habits, change the things that we allow to happen in our life. We have to stop sinning. We have to stop doing these things. So now that I have my eyes open for the signs that God has given me. When I ask for something, though God may not answer me immediately, he will eventually give me an answer. Now that answer could be no, but I could miss that no if I'm not paying attention. Or that answer could be yes, but I can miss that opportunity if I'm not aligned.
Absolutely.
So
bro.
focus your attention on God, and then he will give you the message that is necessary for you to do the things he put you here to do.
Facts. I think I want to highlight how Moses basically committed murder.
Yeah, he took somebody out.
Okay. And so
Snuffed them.
a lot of times your passions and your, disdain or disappointment for what you're seeing can be a revelation of your purpose, right? So him seeing the way his people were being treated and he didn't like it was a further revelation of what he was going to do in the future. Nonetheless, if you don't regulate your emotions and you don't harness, hey, why am I feeling like this? This may not be the right time to do that. How can I go about actually channeling that energy? Because in reality, he ends up having to flee for 40 years because he acted too soon, right? And you're not going to have to kill anybody. If you feel like your purpose requires you to go ahead and start murdering people, probably ain't coming from God, right? You may need to hear from God first before you start taking things in your own hand. So now, again, he has to now be exiled for 40 years because he acted too soon. As you keep reading further on, they get in the wilderness. Which should have been, like he said earlier, a 3-day trip or a 4-day trip. It turns into 40 years wandering in the wilderness because they're not listening to God, right? So even in that, even after all of that, okay, turning the staff into a snake, all right, reaching his hand in his cloak, pulling it out, is leprosy, now it's not, right? Pulling water out of the Nile, it turned to blood, the burning bush, right? This man, Moses, still almost got killed by God because he didn't listen to get his son circumcised. Not knowing that circumcision was protection for his son later on when the plagues come. Right? So understand that a lot of your excuses, a lot of what you feel like is logic is really just disguised as fear. Why would you want me to do this? Oh, I'm asking so many questions because I need to know. Well, who am I going to tell who sent me? What are they going to say when I get there? Okay, who am I going to say? What am I going to do if they don't believe me? Okay, then what if I do all this and they still? A lot of times your logic is really just fear and excuses. So if God is telling you to do something, telling you to act on some things, he's not going to show you the whole plan at first. You got to believe. That's the whole reason of faith, right? So is your logic preventing you from being alive? This man Moses almost got killed because of his fear and his logic. Is your logic and your fear going to prevent you from God's purpose for your life? At some point in your life, once you realize and you are aware of your purpose and your calling, throw logic out, throw the fear out, throw the excuses out, because it could almost lead you to death.
And to touch on one of my favorite parts of this entire story, right? Though it can be dialed down to a minimal part, I think it's one of the most comforting and expressive things is when God told Moses to go talk to Pharaoh because he gonna free the people. And Moses said, who am I? Like, who am I to do that? And I've learned in life, it doesn't matter who you aren't. It only matters who God is. So a lot of times our thought process, our ideas, our capabilities are solely defined by self. And myself is on earth, and there are limits to my abilities. There are limits to how high I can jump. There are limits to how fast I can run. There's limits to how many things I could process at one time, but God is limitless. So, you know, one thing that I think I need to do is start being more cognizant of the power that God holds. When he tells me to do something, it's not because I may be qualified for that. It's because he qualified me to do it. Just by him telling me, hey, this is what I need you to do, I'm good to go. Whether I have the capability or not, I'm supposed to lean on God's word. I'm supposed to lean on his promise. I'm supposed to lean on my faith in him, not my faith in myself. Now, don't get this twisted. You must have faith in yourself, but don't allow the faith in yourself to be the limit of your faith in God. A lot of the things that we may deal with in life, a lot of the doubt, a lot of the decisions that we make, or a lot of the constraints is a direct reflection of how much we think we have the capability to accomplish or do. And a lot of those times we don't even give a second thought to the fact that though I'm limited, God isn't. Though I can't do this, I should pray for God for answers.
Right.
I should pray to God for guidance. I should listen to what God tells me, because he's already given me everything I need to do what he told me to do. God's not going to tell you to do something that he's not going to make sure you succeed at it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's given us the tools we need, and what else we don't have, he's right there to lift us up.
Right.
As I say, God does not allow us to stay down. He picks us up. God isn't going to allow us to fail in his purpose for us. That's the whole reason we were created. So when you go through life and your question is, who am I? Start asking, or not even asking, start saying, I know who God is. So it doesn't matter who I am, because I know who God is.
That's real, bro. Our limitations don't matter. Our plan, our purpose, what we think, our desires, it doesn't matter, right? Because at the end of the day, right, it matters what God has for you, period. Straight like that. What you got for the people?
One last thing I want to touch on too. I'll make this really quick, right? If you notice from the bush, God called Moses by name. He didn't say, hey, little bro, hey, homie, hey, my child. He called Moses by name. And he also alludes the fact that he hears the Israelites and he hears their sorrows and their cries. So understand that God knows who you are by name. By name. And there's millions of people in this world. Sometimes we can feel like we get lost in the sauce and we're insignificant. But God knows all of us intimately, and lean on that.
Yeah. Yeah. The identity. Your identity is huge. It determines your actions. It determines your behaviors, your awareness of your identity. Right. So everything's already laid out for you. The map is already laid out for you. You just got to align with God, walk in that path, and everybody who's meant for you. Right. For whatever level you're trying to get to, whatever you think you need and got to do, and I got to meet this person. I got to talk. Just take a step back and realize that when you're in your purpose and you align with God, you don't have to do nothing extra. Just be you, who he called you to be. It's Freewenow.
Till it is backwards.
Yes, sir, Skate.